Hi, I'm Venus Sohara and welcome to another video. I was looking through my list of video ideas, something that I wrote a few months ago, and I was thinking, what can I make a video about right now? And I saw in the list how to stop attracting married men, and I thought, yes, I'm going to talk about that today. Because I was actually talking about this with a friend recently, and I actually was attracting a lot of married men a few years ago, and I'm not anymore, which is fantastic. And I was trying to kind of analyze why that is, how come I'm not attracting them anymore, and what to do if you're in that situation. There is a guy who always comments on this type of topic on my channel who always says that there are women who prefer married men. I'm thinking, are there? I did not consciously choose to attract married men. In some cases, I didn't even know, which is really annoying. You just think, my God, why don't these people just live an honest life? You know, they're fooling their wives or significant others and you as well. It's like, no. And then others told me that they had an arrangement or an open marriage or something like that. So in my head, I kind of justified it to myself because I needed sex, which is a really terrible thing. But I kind of found that there was a time of my life when I was always attracting not just married men, but also men who were, let's say, geographically unavailable, people who were didn't live in Barcelona. They would come for business from time to time, or people who were just they had another partner. So, for example, it was all wonderful when we were together, but they weren't the kind of people that you could send a message to on a Sunday because they're obviously with their wives or significant others, and then also there are people who say that they have an open relationship or open arrangement, and you find out that they don't. So there's lots of deceit, lots of lies going on. But the main thing is actually to just stop it. You can't really, I think everyone has to be responsible for their own feelings and situations and things they do. And it's just very, very simple. The way to stop attracting this type of person is just to stop accepting it in your life. If you find out that someone is attached, then it has to be no, and just like, and distance. You have to distance from yourself. You have to distance yourself from that person immediately. Otherwise, you're kind of saying, I accept this, and that's not what you want to do at all. Because once you change, then the kind of people around you change as well. That's definitely the kind of people you attract change as well. And that's a kind of very exciting process. But I believe attracting this type of person has got a lot to do with self-esteem. I think for me, I had a lot of self-esteem issues, even though I might not like to admit it. I've always felt quite confident and quite confident with my ability to seduce or attract men, but they weren't really the right men, even though they were nice people and they treated me well during our times together. The situations were far from ideal in many respects. And I think for me, it was partly because I was kind of still am to some degree, a commitment phobe. So I kind of felt that it was emotionally safe because it just couldn't go any deeper because there was this other situation in place. Let's say it could be lots of kilometers or it could be someone having a different relationship. And also I just thought that what kind of guy is going to be able to accept someone who has a spare room with 700 sex toys? And I do know now that there are guys who can see through that and just see that I'm just a normal person, even though I have a very extraordinary job, and there's nothing to be ashamed of at all. But one thing that's really helping me is actually this book called Calling in the One. Dun, dun, dun. 7 weeks to attract the love of your life. And this is written by Catherine Woodward Thomas. And she's the same author who wrote the New York Times best-selling author of Conscious Uncoupling. And that phrase was made very famous by Gwyneth Paltrow. And this book is actually kind of based on her own technique. The author was, maybe she's in her 60s now, her early 60s. And when she was around 41, she was single and child-free, and she really wanted to call in the one. And she was also in a situation where she was attracting kind of unavailable guys, and she wanted to put a stop to that and get married and have a baby. I'm not really sure if that's my objective though, but even so she kind of created this technique. And it's a 49-day course, and you read a bit every day, and every day has some practical practical tasks which are very interesting. But even if you don't call in the one, I think it's a great exercise to kind of examine your childhood, because lots of times, often our relationships or the way we interact in relationships can be affected by or be inspired by our childhood and how we interact with our parents. There's a lot of emphasis on kind of letting go of the past and understanding it and getting over trauma, and also there's lots of accountability and being responsible for your current situation as well. Actually, a few weeks ago when I was on day 3 or day 5, there was a task that was to write down how you are responsible for your current situation. And so I wrote a post on Instagram called Why I'm Single. And there are some parts of it, for example, some parts are like, I'm afraid of being hurt. I haven't really found anyone I want to be with. But also there are some kind of positive sides, for example, that I do like peace and quiet. I have this preconceived idea that relationships are complicated, so I kind of like to distance myself from that complication, maybe protect myself from it. And I do like the peace and quiet. And also one big reason why I am single as well is that I don't really have that many role models. I mean, all the people that I know around me in relationships, a lot of them are in relationships because of financial dependence, and that's just not a good place to be. So I don't really have any good examples around me of the type of relationship that I would want. Yeah, so, but that said, this whole process of really working on your self-esteem and accountability and letting go of trauma can help you to attract a better person, someone who's not married. And there are lots of examples of people who were attracting the wrong kind of person, and they go through this method, and then by the end they've attracted someone wonderful. And also another incredible thing about this book, I haven't finished it yet. I'm just about to start week 6, and there are 7 weeks, so just 2 weeks to go. All of the reviews in Amazon are just amazing, and lots of people actually did find the one when they'd finished this book. And it was actually recommended to me by a friend who met her current partner after reading this book, and I think she has actually a good example of a relationship, few and far between. But yeah, so that's and even if you don't want to meet the one, then you'll definitely have made a lot of progress with your self-esteem. So when you do want to meet the one, it's not going to be someone who's married or someone who lives on the other side of the world. Yeah, so what about you? Have you attracted married men or unavailable men in the past, and how did you stop that cycle? I'd love to hear your comments or read your comments in the comment section below. And if you have any ideas for new videos, don't hesitate to contact me at venus@venusohara.org. And yeah, see you soon.